This one truth will change how you see your life forever, because one choice creates your entire path. If you're looking for motivation, wisdom, and life lessons, take the path of purpose.
How do I build a strong community? Building a strong community is one of the most important endeavors we can undertake. Throughout history, human civilization has thrived, not because of individual effort alone, but because of the power of collective support, shared values, and mutual responsibility. A strong community gives us a sense of belonging, security, and purpose. But how do we build such a community in a world where individualism, division, and disconnection are more common than ever? The answer lies in understanding the principles of unity, leadership, contribution, and resilience. History teaches us that the greatest civilizations, movements, and societal shifts were all rooted in strong communities. The ancient Greeks, for example, built their city-states on the principle of polis, the idea that citizenship required active participation in governance and civic duties. They understood that a community was not just a group of people living in the same place, but a network of individuals committed to the common good. The Romans took this concept further by developing structured public institutions, fostering civic engagement, and creating a sense of shared identity. Fast forward to modern history, and we see the same principles in movements that have changed the world. The civil rights movement in the United States was not led by one person alone. It was the collective power of a community that demanded change. Martin Luther King Jr. did not act in isolation. He was supported by thousands of people who believed in justice and equality. The same can be said of Mahatma Gandhi's leadership in India's fight for independence. He did not merely speak of freedom. He built a movement by uniting people under a shared vision. A strong community does not happen by accident. It requires intentional effort. And the first step is fostering trust. Trust is the foundation of any meaningful relationship, and a community is no different. Without trust, people become isolated, suspicious, and hesitant to collaborate. Trust is built through honesty, reliability, and consistent actions that show others they can depend on one another. When people trust each other, they feel safe to express themselves, contribute their ideas, and work towards collective goals. Communication is another key element of building a strong community. In any society, misunderstandings, conflicts, and divisions arise when people do not communicate effectively. We see this time and time again in history. Failed empires, collapsed governments, and broken societies often stem from a breakdown in dialogue. The most successful communities prioritize open, honest, and respectful communication. They create spaces where voices can be heard, where opinions are valued, and where solutions can be found through discussion rather than division. Another essential principle is shared responsibility. A community is not just about what we can take from it. It's about what we contribute. The strongest communities are built by people who take ownership of their role in the collective well-being. They understand that if something is broken, they have a responsibility to fix it. If someone is struggling, they offer support. If there is a need, they step up to meet it. We see this in the rebuilding efforts after disasters. When hurricanes, earthquakes, or other crises strike, it is the people who come together to help that make the difference. They do not wait for someone else to take responsibility. They act. A great example of this principle is the small town of Le Chambon-sur-Lignon in France during World War II. When Jewish refugees were fleeing Nazi persecution, the people of this town, despite the risks, united to protect them. They hid them in their homes, provided them with food and shelter, and ultimately saved thousands of lives. They did not see it as someone else's problem. They took responsibility for their community's role in upholding humanity. Inclusivity is another cornerstone of a strong community. A divided community is a weak community, but one that embraces diversity thrives. History has shown that societies that exclude others based on race, class, religion, or other factors eventually face instability. The American Civil Rights struggle, the end of apartheid in South Africa, and the push for gender equality worldwide all remind us that the exclusion of certain groups leads to social unrest, while inclusion leads to progress. A strong community welcomes people of different backgrounds and ensures that everyone has a place and a voice. Leadership also plays a crucial role in community building. But leadership does not mean dominance, it means service. The greatest leaders in history were not those who sought power for themselves, but those who empowered others. Nelson Mandela, for instance, did not just fight for his own freedom. He fought for the freedom of his people. He led with humility, vision, and a deep commitment to unity. A strong community needs leaders who listen, who care, and who serve rather than command. True leadership is about lifting others up and creating an environment where everyone can thrive. Another critical factor is resilience. No community is without challenges. There will be disagreements, hardships, and external pressures that threaten unity. The question is not whether difficulties will arise. The question is how we respond to them. A strong community does not crumble under pressure. It adapts, learns, and finds solutions. Look at Japan, a nation that has endured earthquakes, tsunamis, and war, yet has consistently rebuilt itself through resilience and collective effort. Their ability to come together, to support one another, and to persevere is a testament to the power of a strong community. Education and knowledge sharing also contribute to building a strong community. The most enduring societies are those that prioritize learning. Knowledge empowers individuals, and an educated community is one that can make informed decisions, solve problems, and innovate for the future. Ancient civilizations like the Islamic Golden Age flourished because they valued education, philosophy, and scientific discovery. Even today, communities that invest in education see long-term benefits in stability, growth, and prosperity. Empathy and kindness are often overlooked, but are some of the most powerful tools for strengthening a community. The simplest act of kindness can create ripples that extend far beyond what we see. In times of crisis, it is not grand gestures that hold communities together, but small acts of compassion, checking on a neighbor, offering help without being asked, or simply listening to someone who needs support. The world's greatest humanitarian efforts began with individuals who cared enough to make a difference. Whether it's Mother Teresa's mission to serve the poor or modern grassroots organizations helping the homeless, kindness has always been the glue that binds people together. So, how do we build a strong community? We build trust through honesty and reliability. We communicate openly and listen with respect. We take responsibility, recognizing that the health of the community depends on each of us. We embrace diversity, knowing that inclusivity strengthens rather than weakens. We lead by serving rather than controlling. We remain resilient in the face of adversity, understanding that hardships are opportunities for growth. We invest in education and knowledge sharing, ensuring that our community thrives for generations to come. And most importantly, we practice kindness, knowing that even the smallest act of compassion can create a lasting impact. A strong community is not built overnight. It is the result of continuous effort, shared vision, and a commitment to one another. It is built by people who understand that true strength is not in standing alone, but in standing together. The choice is ours. Will we be bystanders, or will we be builders? If we choose to build, then we will create something greater than ourselves, something that will endure, something that will inspire, and something that will uplift generations to come. Let's build that future together.